Good morning and welcome to the best home ever show of the Palm Beaches, Keller Williams Realty on Legends 100.3. Maria, Joshua, and baby Genesee will address your real estate concerns and bring you solutions. For more information, call 561-779-9452 or visit besthomeever.com. Now here are Maria, Josh, and Genesee.
Hello, it's Maria.
And Josh.
And we are the
Best Home Ever team with Keller Williams Palm Beaches.
Today we have a very special guest with us.
That's right. The one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, my father, Mike Horwitz.
Hi there. It's great to be here with all of you.
Thanks for joining us on the show.
My pleasure.
So Mike has a wealth of knowledge. He was actually my real estate coach before I met Josh. And he has an extensive background in real estate, in development, and commercial real estate. So we wanted to bring him on the show to introduce the brains behind the operation.
All right. So, it's great to be here. And, it's so true about being the coach. But the funny story is that I was teaching a class, and Maria was in the class. Josh stuck his head in the door, made a comment to me nobody knew he was my son. And I turned around after he walked out, and I said, "Oh, it's my son." And Maria popped up. She said, "Oh, you have a son." The rest is history.
The rest is history. I'm like, well, if your son is anything like you, he's an incredible human being, and you did not disappoint.
Amen to that.
Absolutely. So Maria asked me to share a little bit about who I am and myself. So I have I'm a longtime real estate broker. I've had my license for about 25 years. Prior to that, I was a practicing CPA. So I blended this 45 years of experience to become a national trainer and a coach, in addition to being a real estate broker. I have a doctorate in organizational leadership, so I've been able to take the academic and the practical, blend those all together to deliver the training, the coaching, and the real estate experience in a really different way.
What's one thing you'd want to tell the audience about real estate?
Buy it, sell it, invest in it. Don't be afraid of real estate. We're people, if we watch the news, we listen to what's going on, pay attention to what we see on social media, you get a very odd approach to the market because everybody's got a different story. We've got interest rates going up, we have low inventory, we have inflation, we still have increasing home prices, and yet there are doomsayers who would like to predict that the market is going to explode. Well, we're not in a bubble. We're not anywhere near a bubble. We're moving toward a more balanced market, and we will probably get there. So it's not a time to sit back and say, I'm going to wait for prices to come down, because there's no indication that's going to happen. There's no reason to sit and wait for mortgage rates to come down because you're buying the property. You're not marrying the mortgage. You can refinance the mortgage at a later time if rates come down. Price it from a seller's perspective, they're sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out what to do and then being concerned about whether or not they should make a move. Yet at the same time, if you take the equity, you make a lateral move, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, there's really no reason to stay out of the market. And we know that people buy and sell in every market.
Correct.
But the most money that was made in real estate was actually made during the downturn in the last recession from 2008 to 2013. There was a massive amount of wealth accumulated because of real estate investments.
Right.
And if we look back over the historical trend, going all the way back, and I've lived through 5 real estate cycles, you see that over time, real estate goes up at 5 to 6% a year. And it doesn't matter, even in 2005, the people who bought at the top of the market, if they held on to their home long enough, like where we are today, they have additional equity. They've earned back all of that lost equity. Right. And they're in a great place.
Exactly. I love the quote, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. We have clients all the time come up to us and say, we're going to wait for the market to correct, for prices to come down. And if they wait too long, they're in danger of interest rates going up.
Well, they're in danger of interest rates going up and prices are going up. The predictions are that the volume will drop this year by somewhere around 15%. So that's the number of homes sold across the United States will decrease by about 15%.
That's right.
However, the economists are also saying that prices are going to increase. Yet, when we look at the number of homes sold that are going to decrease, part of that is because they have predicted that sellers are not going to sell, not that there won't be enough. Now,
Baby G says hi.
hey there. Yeah, my little one.
Hi, baby Genesee.
So, and new home builders have pulled back. I saw a recent report from one of the government agencies, Fannie Mae or Ginnie Mae or one of those guys, that they think that new home construction is going to drop from 1 million units a year down to 600,000 units a year. So that's a $400,000 loss across this coming year. Add that on to the homes that didn't get built from 2007 till the builders started back in 2000, maybe 18 or 19. We've got about a 5 million home inventory shortage. And that doesn't include homes that are going to fall apart that need to be replaced. And when you look at that shortage, and then I saw an article this morning that millennials represent the largest buying population because they're creating separate households. You know, you guys married, have a child, new household, are buying homes. So we've got this we've got this pressure on inventory, new households being created. And Gen Z is entering the market and entering the buying and renting market. So we've got 5 generations that are in real estate right now in some place of buying, selling, or investing. So, you know, if you wait, prices are going to go up. And we don't see prices decrease. We saw a very unusual decline in 2007, you know, as everything, we had that great recession. But there's no reason for that to happen because
Yeah, can you explain the difference between what happened in 2007 versus what happened now?
Yeah, so in 2007, they had what we called the NINA loan, no income, no asset. If you could fog a mirror, you got a house. So people who had no income were buying $1 million homes in hopes, because they saw the prices going up, that they were going to flip them and they would make $100,000 or $200,000 on that house and everything would be fine. Well, they weren't qualified. The market didn't go up. They were the 3rd or 4th person in line in the contract. And then they could not perform when it came time to close. So that created a lot of problems, created a lot of excess inventory. And when they turned off that no income, no asset process in about November of 2006, I kind of remember when it happened. It was like a faucet got turned off, and we started to see the decline. So it was bad lending, and it wasn't good fundamentals. Today, we have really good fundamentals. Underwriters are underwriting loans. People are putting them down payments, and just when I talk about down payments, I want to be clear that you don't have to have 20% to buy a house. But people have money, they have jobs, they have income that can support the mortgage, you know, that to support what they're buying. And even with a VA loan, if you qualify for that with no money down, the economics are still there.
Right.
So it's different because we have qualified buyers who are buying homes that have equity that are able to make the payments. Before, we had people that couldn't make the payment. In fact, we had adjustable rate mortgages. They didn't call them this, but they were similar to the negative amortization loans that were around in 1979. I bought a house at an 18% interest rate. So if you think rates are high today.
Right.
So we had these negative amortization loans. So you'd pay for 3 or 4 years at 3% or 2% or 4%, and then all of a sudden now you got to start making payments at the note rate. Well, that just crushed people, and they turned in their keys. We went up to 31 months of inventory in the market at the high point, at the depths of the recession, that great recession. Now we have 0.5 months of inventory on the market.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, 30.5 months. And when you talk about months of inventory, that's how inventory is actually absorbed, how much of that is being sold. So it means that we have 1/2 of a month's worth of homes being sold actively on the market. Means if a house comes on the market, it's likely to be off the market in less than 30 days. You know, we're still seeing market times around 15 days. We're expecting that to increase just a tad. But what we are seeing is that because of some of the shifts, some of the things the Fed has done, interest rates, concerns about inflation, that we don't have 300 offers being made on a house. There's only 3.
Right.
So, and we're seeing the negotiation change a little bit in that process, but the market's still moving.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think, the difference is the fundamentals in today's market are pretty sound.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, and if we can also be reached, if you guys have any further questions, at 561-779-9452 or online at besthomeever.com. That just kind of parlays actually into a conversation we just left meeting with some investors, real estate investors, and they've been talking to a lot of the banks and echoing what I've said earlier on a show, and then you're even saying today, is that, we are seeing a little bit of a slowdown in some of the secondary purchasing market, some of the more luxury end, but we're still seeing a streaming market in the 300 to 500 range. So it's really just, hyper local depending on what market it is. And we're also in a cyclical part of the market too, along with it. So it's hard to see what's actually affected by the market and let's just say inflation and what's going on in the economy versus just what's cyclical and what happens in August, September. So
right, it's always slower this time of year.
Right, exactly. So we are seeing also some greedy sellers that are overpricing by astronomical amounts. So which I think is kind of having people perceive, oh, there's a price reduction, the market's crashing, the stars are falling, that kind of mentality because everybody's just so snake bitten from back in 2008.
Right. And I think that, so there's a couple. First of all, perception is everything, right? And so depending on what you read, or depending on where you get your information, that changes your perception. Right. And there are those people, I'm talking investors, who are thinking, well, we're talking to banks, we're going to go buy their inventory. The foreclosure rate is well below what it has been historically, and it's right now the foreclosure rate is still running somewhere at around 2019 rates, and the banks have done an amazing job at keeping people in their homes, modifying mortgages, and making sure that defaults don't happen because they don't want to foreclose. And foreclosures are less likely because people have equity in a home. So the banks are not the banks are not overly concerned. They're paying attention. Yeah. But we're not seeing a big push to file
and
foreclosures.
To speak that further, right? I mean, we see it every daily when we're with these transactions. The banks are coming back with many different things are asking for. Oh, we need this. We need you to prove this income. Where'd this income come from? Or verify just a million different questions. By the time it ends up closing, I mean, they pretty much have your blood type, your DNA, and your firstborn child's full name. I mean, it's just it's insane. But it helps also, I think, in securing the loans and making sure that they're giving the money to someone that's responsible enough to not default like we had back in those times. And
yes, they're definitely dotting every I and crossing every T. So the people who are buying homes are very qualified, and that that history does not repeat itself.
Yeah, and I think that we have to realize that the perception that's out in the market, that really does drive it. So we've got great fundamentals, and if we're really paying attention, then investors can still make money because there's always opportunities. There's always an opportunity in real estate. It's just being aware, being in the right place, having the right representation, having people working for you that are paying attention to those, and when they come up to share them, and then investors have to be able to pull the trigger.
Right.
Absolutely.
And be able to move quickly. So that's one of the things that we have seen happen recently is that investors and cash buyers were able to outbid and outwin traditional buyers who were getting financing because of the contingencies, and sellers were in a position to be able to accept an offer without contingencies. No appraisal, no inspection, cash deal, close in a week, yet those are gone. And now people are actually sitting back and saying, we're going to get back to the basics of real estate. We're going to make a realistic offer. We're going to do our inspections. We're going to get our appraisals. We are going to do the things we need to do so that we know that we're rock solid. And the cash buyers who are some of them, and there's a lot of discussion about the big hedge fund buyers. They don't actually own as many homes as some people would like to believe. But they are buying in the market. They're still active. They're purchasing homes, making them single-family rentals, and there's nothing wrong with that because there's also a need for rentals in the market. We see what's going on with rental rates and the lack of rental inventory.
Right.
Exactly. And in the sharing economy, and you guys have done that because you've done that with your cars and you've done that with other things. You got the Airbnb.
Right.
So in the sharing economy. with like Turo and then Airbnb on some of the units that you have.
Yep.
We're in a sharing economy, so Gen Zs are thinking, well, maybe I don't have to own. Not that they don't want to, but right now they think I don't have to own. I can rent. Now, right now, rents are outstripping mortgages.
Right.
So if you can buy rather than rent and turn around and build the equity, pay down your mortgage and increase that value, even if it goes up, it's 5, 6, 7% a year. That's a huge win.
Absolutely. We actually had really cute clients. They were engaged. She was 7 months pregnant. Her rent went up $1,000 overnight. So they were panicking because they couldn't afford this new rental payment. So they contacted us. They wanted to buy something, and we found them a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, first floor condo, and their mortgage payment was actually going to be $1,000 less than their rent. And now they had their beautiful baby, and they're happy, and their home is already appreciated in value.
Yeah, so they're picking up equity, plus every month they're paying down on their mortgage, and they're taking a tax deduction on the interest. So it's a win all the way around.
Right. Why pay somebody else's mortgage when you can pay your own?
Right. Yeah. Now, there are reasons to rent.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right, somebody moves into an area, they don't know where they want to live, they're getting familiar with things, they're transitioning. Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason to rent. Yet, most people still, when we look at the surveys, most people are thinking about where do I buy a home and how can I do that. And what's fascinating is that there's some research out there that says that about 50% of the potential home buyers don't understand the process. They don't know what to do. How do I get a mortgage? How do I find the right realtor? How do I buy a home? How much money do I need? What are closing costs, right? So we know that down payments are different than closing costs. And understanding that, having the right professionals in your corner is what it really takes to move forward. So for anybody who doesn't know, it's a great opportunity.
You can contact our team, the Best Home Ever team, at 561-779-9452 or online at besthomeever.com.
So if you're and so I think that the overall perspective is that we're really in pretty good shape. We've got a lot of good things going on. And I'm conducting some research in leadership in the real estate industry, and we're finding interesting connections in how in the real estate business. But we still have, we've got solid fundamentals, and we've got a lot of good things happening. Now, is inflation a concern? Absolutely. Is it affecting consumers' pockets? Absolutely. Do gas prices matter? Yeah, that's making people reconsider long commutes. And the flip side of that, though, is
they need to sell their house and move.
They got to sell their house and move, or people have a work from home opportunity, so they can sell their house and move and buy a place that has a home office, is set up for that, so they can be better situated. So we're seeing a lot of transition, and many, many, many companies are still allowing full remote work or some percentage of that. So the commute times are less, the time in less. So, the time in the car is less, and the gas prices are lower because the gas consumption's lower. So you still have that opportunity. So you can balance all of those, and it means that you've really got to sit down and you've got to have, again, it sounds it's repetitive, but you got to have the right people to ask the questions and answer the questions.
There's a lot to be said with having a team that you can ask these questions and have knowledgeable answers with people who have a wide extent of experience. Experience is everything.
Yeah, so Maria alluded to my experience, and yes, I'm a reformed. I am a reformed real estate developer. I have worked in the real estate space and in commercial and residential across many markets, and it has helped in us building the team. Because by sharing my knowledge, my background, my expertise, Josh being able to see it in action. He's had his real estate license since he was 19. And he's significantly older than that. Got his broker's license at 20 or 21. And now he and Maria have started a home and started a family together. And his mother also, my former wife, his mother and I worked together, ran a real estate brokerage company for 18 years. And so we've got a lot of experience. We've seen, I used to say I've seen everything. When somebody brings me a real estate transaction, there's nothing that you can bring me that I haven't seen before. And of course, as soon as those words come out of my mouth, somebody brings me something I haven't seen before, but that's okay because we have the resources. We know who to go to ask the questions to clear up any of those anomalies.
Exactly. Like I like to say, we are professional problem solvers. No matter what you throw at us, we will have an answer or we know where to go to get the answer.
And I approach everything as an educator, right? I'm a trainer, so I educate our customers, I educate the agents I work with, and in that role, my job is to educate the people that I'm working with so they're fully informed. They know all of their options. They get all the information. We talk about the good, the bad. We just get it all out there. We have real clarity, and that matters. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier, and they said, well, I'm looking on one of the other websites, not to be named, and looking at homes that might be available, and I'm not sure that I'll need a realtor. And my advice to anyone who says I don't need a realtor is you need a realtor.
Yes.
There are so many things that can go sideways if you don't have somebody who truly understands the market, and not only understands the market, but is truly an economist. Right? Really gets all of the market dynamics, what's going on. And Josh alluded to something earlier. He said real estate's hyper-local. Well, it is. It varies by subdivision. Activity in one subdivision is very different than the activities in another subdivision. Knowing what developments are happening, knowing how things are changing. Here in Palm Beach County, the western communities have changed so dramatically from selling vacant land and homes in 1992 in the acreage when there were 2,000 homes to now there are 45,000 homes, and Westlake and all the other things that are going on out there, Avenir, and so you gotta have people who understand the market dynamics too. And I brought up Avenir and Westlake too, and I do want to also make it clear that I believe that if you're looking at a new home, you should also have representation. You should have a realtor there to help you with the selection of the property, the lot, and certainly the amenities, the add-ons, the other things that are truly important to you. Because there are some things that add value, and there are some that are,
And as a buyer, having a real estate professional in your corner doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, the builder pays the commission.
Yeah, the builder is paying for that. So it's an opportunity to get free representation for you and somebody who can walk you through the process. I used to joke I was like paragraph 56 in one of the builder's contracts because I brought so many buyers. They knew me that was the joke, but it helped my buyers buy right. And that meant that sometime down the road, if they decided that they needed to get out, as most people do eventually sell, they were properly situated.
And to reach the Best Home Ever team, you can call 561-779-9452 or online at besthomeever.com.
So, Josh, I want to ask you a question. What did we not talk about that we need to get out there today?
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess that might be something we'll have to save for next week and put people on the hook for. We have Village Maintenance, which is a property management company we just purchased, and there's some great things to come with that. We'll get into more detail with that one next week. And baby Genesee is now 16 weeks old.
Woo!
Yep, she's just waking up from a nice little naparoni.
She comes on every appointment, every showing. So if you'd like to meet the cutest baby in the world, you can call us.
At 779-9452. That's a 561 area code, of course.
And next week we also will touch on if you're sitting on some cash, you don't know what to do, you want to do some investing, we have Airbnb opportunities, we have 1031 options for you to move your money into, and all that is waiting for you next week on Legends Radio.
100.3.
Thank you for listening to the Best Home Ever Show.
Thanks for listening to the Best Home Ever Show of the Palm Beach's Keller Williams Realty. Join Maria, Josh, and baby Genesee next Saturday at 9:30 and call the team with any questions you have, 561-779-9452, or visit besthomeever.com.